Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC out here today on Park Aero Models Club. We're going to take up the F-105, the F-5N Tiger II 80mm. Basically, they took a 70 size jet and they wrapped around an 80mm fan. And she got some speed, not quite as fast as the Mirage, but pretty close. And we do have audio, right? Audio working? That's always a good thing. That's always a good thing. All right. Try to block the sun for camera precious here. Left, up, down, right, left. All right, wind don't really, well, wind don't matter. The wind's kind of dead, so, which is unusual. Y'all are used to me flying with a bunch of wind. So,
take off flaps.
Actually be able to use flaps today.
Set the Tiger free.
All right. 3.5 minutes, high rates. Here we go.
Retract tucked away.
Got a KM model afterburner inside there. Oh, I forgot. Had my rates. Anyways, I had the rates turned way up on the dial, so she was oscillating. Camera precious lost her, but I can't hit pause. All right, now what I'm doing now, I went up there and I killed the motor for half a second or so. Let the air flow over the electronics. I do the same thing here. Kill the motor. Sorry. Okay. Not giving camera precious a warning. Okay, I'm gonna go up now. Kill the motor. Let it fall. Straightening her out. Come straight down. The reason I do this, it's a hot day. Going up there. What I'm doing is I'm letting those electronics cool. Forcing that air over them. All right, let's go out here to the road.
Gear down.
Get lined up for a run for first landing here.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy.
Braking. Cruise. Flaps up.
But one thing is plain, you got those missiles on the outside of them wings. They're held in the very center, but the outer edges of the missiles aren't really held on. And if you barely touch them, they'll bend out. So I put a little bit of glue to really secure them in on both ends. All right, let's try that again. Still got 1 minute and 36. Let's see if we can't, that was our first landing for the day. Let's see if we can't improve upon that. I need more wind. I'm used to having wind. There we go. All right, take it out the road. We're gonna make one fast pass right down the runway. Take it up again.
Gear down.
Got the gear down.
1 minute.
All right. Try to get up my center line here. Completely missed the runway, but that's okay. All right, let's do this.
Braking. Cruise mode.
All right.
Flaps up.
Still had 29 seconds. Let me take a look at this battery real quick. If I got over, say, 40 or 50%, I'll go up one more time.
Motor is so very.
But I know if I had telemetry, I could just sit there and they're free. But I like checking things the old-fashioned way. That's just me. I want to look at it. These jet flights go pretty quick. All right. Nope, 24%. So we're going to end it there. Let me go ahead and give you the per cell report. All right, that's 37, 37, 37, 37, 37, 37, 37 for 24% left on the battery. And that is F105, or actually not the F105, it's F-5 Tiger, Tiger 2. And 80mm jet wrapped in a 80mm fan wrapped in a 70mm size jet. Retracts are pretty darn quick, and of course suspension. And without landings, it's pretty tough. They need to be with those landings. So, all right, we're going to slap another battery here in a little bit, and we'll take up for a second flight. We'll combine it. We'll go everything over everything back in the man cave because it's actually hot out here today. God bless you. I'll catch you in a bit. Well, hey, we ran out of time and had some people stop and had a talk and had some visitors, some fans actually, stop, wanted to meet me and talk. Well, anyways, real nice guy named Randy Quarles, and he's one of my regular followers. And but anyways, only got one flight in with the Tiger here, the Tiger FREEWING F-5 and Tiger 2. But that's okay. We got a kind of a rough and tumble flight too. This was the first flight of the day. It still had some wind kicking up. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I actually prefer to fly this plane a little bit heavier of wind because she's so fast, and it just makes it easier to land when I can land into some wind. One word of caution with this plane, and it's not a design flaw. It's just how it is. Guy named Jerry Brunner at the club, he has one, and he broke his missiles off of his, and he had to fly it one day without the missiles, and he said, you got to keep the missiles on. He said this thing's almost uncontrollable without these missiles. These things help keep this plane locked in. I like having them on because the good orientation it gives. And if you look at the bottom of this plane, okay, it's all gray, whereas the top has the camo. That helps me with my orientation, is the camo. But the word of caution is that these muscles are only attached from like here to here with glue. Then from all this end down here and this end back down here, they're just there. So if you barely touch it, it'll easily separate when you're like storing it and stuff. So I went ahead and put a bead of glue here and down here and make this whole thing solid. It also means I can't take them off because these railing systems actually screw into the side of the wing. But from what he was telling me, you don't want to fly without the missile anyways. All right, let me show you my battery placement real quick. This is where I put the 4000 HRB, and I've got a Lemon RX Gen 2 with a satellite in there. Okay, this gives me perfect CG, basically about a finger width and a half in from the front. This will give me perfect CG. This is not a death Dorito. Okay, this you want to be level to slightly nose heavy. CG is 555 to 540 millimeters back from the rear of the plane forward. Okay, and so if I put that batter right there, she CGs basically perfect. Maybe starting to favor nose heavy on, and I got some glue marks where that is. I can actually feel I got a hump of glue there. All right, so let me show you my flying rates and the flap settings. I would have told you how much I had left after a 3.5 minute flight. Okay, and model afterburner inside there. I flew at my high rates the entire time. And ailerons are 105 with 40% expo. Elevator 85 with 40% expo. And rudder 100% with 50% expo. Okay, my flap settings, nose itching. Flap settings, there is a mix. Flap up, 100%, no mix. Takeoff flap,
Takeoff flap.
negative 20% with a 14% down elevator mix.
Landing flaps.
And landing are a negative 70% with an 18% down elevator
Takeoff
mix.
flaps.
2-second
Flaps up.
deployment on that. Okay. Now, the plane has got extremely strong gear. I mean, I had some really rough and tumble landings today. And I haven't flown this plane forever. This is usually like a warm-up plane for me. Well, I need a warm-up for this warm-up. But the gear pretty quick.
Gear down.
So 1, 2, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So really, planning your approach, you can put them down right before you land. So that's pretty darn quick. Okay, and nice strong gear. Now and I actually consider this a strength to this plane is you have to glue the mains in. Okay, which I like that. That way I control how much glue I put in here, and I put just the right amount of glue because they're in there nice and strong. I wish you got dirt all over. But yeah, that's a good flying little plane right there. I'm going to store it with the gear up. And you can store this plane 2 ways. You have a hard nose cone. This is all one piece. You can store her on her nose, or like I do, you can store her on the tail. Because yes, these are foam. They're very hardened foam, and I can put her in a corner and she'll stand just fine up against something. Or you can put her on her nose. Either way. But there you go, folks. That's the F5N Tiger II Camo.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
One great flying jet. Very impressed with it. She's quick. She's quick, and basically you've got a 70 size jet with an 80 millimeter packed in it. So she got plenty of power. Got plenty of power. Love that KM model afterburner. That's the version 5. So, all right, folks. Well, thank you so much for watching. That is the F5N Tiger II, 80 millimeter from FreeWing. God bless y'all, and don't forget, faith, family, and friends, the Tiger IIs.